so today I'm going to show you guys how to use the layer styles effect in Photoshop. All right, so this is how we get these really cool looking effects. How we take our text and we make it look like something completely different, right? For example, the word glass, we made it representative of the word or glass. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hide these effects that I've put on here. And it might not work so well because I actually have my layer styles. I had to lower the opacity. But we're going to go from a simple word like the word glass to something completely different. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new document. And while we're learning, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it 10 inches by 10 inches. And I'm going to drop some color onto my artboard just to kind of give it some separation. I'm not sure what I'm going to create yet. I'm just going to kind of start typing and see what happens. All right, so let's talk about our text. So our text tool, we know our font choices are up here. I'm just going to use something, let's use something nice and bold so you can kind of see what's going on. I'll lower my size just a little bit because it's a little large. And then I'm going to type out a word. I'm just going to type out my name. Okay, so my name, actually, my text right now is let's change this color back to white or black or something you can see. It's not going to matter after we're done. All right, so here is my name. Now your layer styles are located right here in the layer panel. So we're going to go ahead and click on blending options. You can do all sorts of things with this panel. So when you bring this up, you've got some options here. Bevel and emboss, you can add a stroke, an inner stroke, or an inner shadow, a glow, satin color overlay. Again, it's all about experimenting and seeing what happens when you push the buttons. Okay, I need to make sure that my text layer is selected, and I'm just going to start clicking. When you click on the word, it's going to open up the properties for that actual effect. So bevel and emboss is going to do exactly what it says. It might be kind of hard to see on certain words or certain texts or certain fonts. So you might have to try a few different things. All right, and then just pushing the buttons, you can see that it's already changed a little bit. Changing the angle, you can change inner bevel, outer bevel. You can change the size. You can change how the depth of it. And you can see it's changing right here. It's really hard to see on this. Let's change this all back to normal. It's really hard to see. I'm going to hit reset to default. Okay, there we go. I had created that glass effect and it kept what I used previously. That's why it was hard to see. But this is what you guys should see. So inner bevel, outer bevel, emboss, okay? And then you can change the depth of it. You can change the size of it. So it really already changed the look of my entire word, okay? Something else you can try is the stroke. So this adds an outline to your text or whatever object it is you're using this on. You can use this on pictures. You can use it on shapes. Everything that you create in Photoshop, you can use this on. Just be careful because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this works really well on text to change the complete outlook of it. You can change your fill type from a color to a gradient. So if I wanted to use a gradient stroke on my outline on my name, I could. If I wanted to use a pattern, there's patterns loaded into Photoshop. You can also load patterns in Photoshop as well. If you click on the little wheel, it'll bring up some more pattern options, okay, more textures, things like that. And you'll be able to see it more in a second when I show you like the fill color and the gradient and the pattern. Another thing you do, inner shadow. Okay, so this creates a shadow on the inside of your object. This kind of gives it a little bit of depth. Okay, the next thing is going to be inner glow. So this kind of makes it glow. This works well when you're using text on like a light text on a dark background. I know there's an outer glow as well down here. That works well as well. Your satin effect. I don't use this a whole lot, but it does have its purposes. I have yet to find one that works well on its own. You can use it in combination with other. Oh, that actually looks really cool. In combination with other effects. And again, you can change the contour, how it's falling, and just click and watch what happens when you click on these things. And the great thing about this is if you don't remember what you did, everything is recorded for you right here. And then you just come back in here and open up your styles panel and it'll show you exactly what you did. The next thing is color overlay. You can change the color. This is good if you've rasterized your text already, and you made it uneditable. This is a good option. You can change your blend mode, and we're going to talk about blend modes in a little bit. Okay. The next thing is going to be gradient overlay. Okay. So you can add a gradient to your text. You can change how strong it is. You can change the scale of it, where it falls. You can change the blend mode of it. And as you go through these blend modes, so I clicked the first one. Now I'm just using the arrow keys, up and down arrows to go through each one. That's how it's changing. Some of them are going to work. Some of them are not. All right, let's go back to normal. You can change if it's reflected and linear, angle. Okay, so this is kind of cool. If you click on that. All right, so again, linear. Okay, so it just gives it kind of an overlay with a gradient. The next one is the pattern overlay. So I did talk a little bit about that. So your patterns are here. You can download new patterns from the internet if you want to. And we will get to that as well. I'm going to hit append, and that will just add to the ones that are already there. If you hit replace, it's just going to hide those ones. It won't get rid of them completely. It just hides them. So if you click on, okay, so let's do this one, something that's easy to see. You can change the scale of your pattern, how large it is, how much of it you can see. So it's kind of like zooming in on that pattern. You can change the opacity, and again, you can change the blend mode to see what happens when you do that. Go through each one. The next one is going to be outer glow. So just like the inner glow, it kind of gives your object a glow. Okay. If you are in normal mode, let me see. Sometimes it changes. So normal mode, this is one that you really want to use your blend modes with because it really does change the way it looks. All right, so just go through each one. A good option for this one is the screen mode, so just keep that in mind. And also it depends on the colors that you're using as well. So the larger the size, the larger that glow is going to be. The spread is how wide it'll be. You can change if it's precise or if it's soft. You can change if it has noise. So when you have noise to something, it kind of gives it like little pixels, like it's kind of broken up a little bit. And finally, we have drop shadows. So this adds a drop shadow. It's kind of similar to Bevel and Emboss, but it gives you that drop shadow effect to help things pop out off the page a little bit. And again, you can change your blend mode. You can change the opacity. You can change the angle. And you can change the angle on most of these things. If I unchecked global light, you can see what happens. So definitely push the button. So global light is as if you had a light shining down on it. When you uncheck that box, it just looks like it's coming straight from the front of your object. If you use global light, that kind of gives it more of an angle. All right, so again, it's all a matter of pushing the buttons and seeing what happens.